This is Aline, Barbara. For sure, for sure. And Aline, I wanted to ask you, what led you and you and your team to tell the story of Aureo and Mirele? Why? What did you see there that stood out, and as something that needed to be captured?
So Aureo and I, like, we go back. He was an English student, and I was a teacher in Salt Lake City. So one of the first things that we had in common was that we were both former Mormons. And there's a, you know, like when you're part of a group that kind of like you understand certain things. And he's a hairdresser, so he used to do my hair, and I used to teach him English at the school. And there's always a story that he would tell me about his life, and like, I can't believe you were a missionary. Like, that's when I found out he served a mission. He was a gay black man in Brazil in his 40s at the time, and so he just had like all of these different things. That he was such a happy person, and whenever I would be complaining about my life in any way, he would just be bringing me up and like telling me about like different things about his life, and I just couldn't believe that all those things were buried under this very happy person. It just seemed like he would just process things in a different way, and everybody loved him. Everybody just like, he was just this positive person. And well, I'm not a very positive person, so every time I would see him, it would be like, oh, thank God you exist. And when he became Mirele, I hadn't seen him in a few years, and then he was in Salt Lake, and I was already in LA, and I sent him a message, like when he came to LA to live, I told him, like, I don't know who you are anymore, like I haven't seen you in a while, and like you really need to teach me how to be around you now, because I don't know who Mirele is. And so I told him I was a little bit afraid. It was this identity thing, and it was this like, I don't want to disrespect my friend, and I don't know who he is anymore. And at the same time, of course, it was this entire movement that was happening, because I moved to the States about almost 20 years ago. Things that you didn't talk about, you know, sexuality or being an immigrant. Like I tried to hide the fact that I was an immigrant. I tried to lose my accent as best as I could to fit in. In the last 10 to 5 years is when like you can actually openly say, I'm an immigrant, I have an accent, my name is Aline Andrade, not Ali, you know, not something else that I'm trying to pretend to be. And without it was always very easy to talk to. And when he became Mirele, we met again, and so it was this, so many things about his life I saw was universal and unique at the same time, that yeah, so I told him, let's make a movie about you. So we would be making videos about it, about our conversations, and I didn't feel very comfortable being the director of it, because everything is very emotional for me, and I thought that I couldn't make it matter. I thought, this is too much about me. Also, like everything that I see in him, I see in me, in terms of looking for a way to be an immigrant and be yourself in a different land. Even like, he didn't feel like himself in Brazil, you know, he couldn't be himself in Brazil. He had a lot of difficulties trying to become, you know, the dancer that he wanted to become. I can only imagine, you know, like he's now in his 50s, being a black boy from Rio Grande do Sul, which like, it's true, like racism is very institutionalized in Brazil, I think. And he found his way out, basically. And the same way, like in a similar way, I left Brazil for similar reasons, and I couldn't find a place, you know, a voice. And so I didn't have the guts to direct it, basically, because it was too personal. And then when I met Felipe Galvão, the director, I saw a movie that he made a couple of years ago called Encantado, about, you know, the whole politics of Brazil, and that movie educated me a lot about certain things that I needed to learn that was happening between, you know, changes of government and all that stuff. And he made it like he made very subtle arguments about things that were very big, and I can't believe that I actually understood and felt things because of the way that he's presenting it. And I thought, this is the right guy to direct Aureo Mirele, because he's going to bring out very subtle details that he's going to make this matter, basically. It's kind of, and I learned a lot from just watching him work. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you.